Hey there guys, Erica here from Highway 49 RC. It's been a hot minute since a splash video has come out, mainly because every weekend it has been raining. Every week it has been nice and sunny and warm. So it's been a while. And last weekend there was a baseball game going on, so I couldn't come down to my favorite splash testing spot. And looks like there's some mud to contend with. Hopefully that doesn't affect our test at all, but I want to give this thing another good shakedown now that we've got a new coolant tank installed on it. It's gonna be a lot more thermal mass. Okay. Oh boy. Okay. That's a lot of mud. But we've got a lot more thermal mass in the cooling system now, thanks to our super crazy awesome billet coolant tank. And we've also got our thermocouples in the system as well. Not that those help the cooling any, but it means that we don't have to necessarily use our laser thermometer. I'm gonna set my stuff down over here, this little dry patch. It's like about as good a spot as any. So I did have a bit of a cheeky run when I first got this thing together with the new coolant tank. So I already kind of know what's gonna happen. It's about, I don't know, I'd say probably 55 or 60 degrees out today. I think it's time to go, shall we? Nice. Great, and it just shut off. What the fuck? No throttle, huh? Okay, got steering, no throttle. Turn our cooling stuff off. Let's see what's wrong. Okay, seems okay. Not sure what that was all about. Turn my coolant on. 65 at the radiator, 67 at the tank right now. And I guess away we go. What the heck? I wonder if it... That's weird. It's almost like the motor's drawing too much current. It can't keep up with it. I wonder if I've got it geared too tall. I mean, wouldn't be surprised if it was. This is weird. I don't know why it's not going at its full speed like normal. Guess we're just gonna run it till it quits. That's the whole goal of this test. Okay, so I just rolled it over again, and it's got no throttle again, which is weird. 80 in the front, 70 in the back, 68 in the back. So that's a good difference. I like that. System's working really good. Seems like I'm having power issues. I wonder if... I don't know, man. This is really weird. Alright, one more thing I noticed is that my pump is not running, actually. I can't feel it running at all, but I can feel the mount getting hot. So I think there's dirt up inside the motor, and that has screwed over. So that's not good. I don't think that would affect why the ESC is doing what it is, but just for fun, I'm gonna unplug my pump, and I'm just going to run it like that. No cooling system on, because at this point, we have bigger issues to worry about than cooling electronics that don't work. So, let me zip this back up real quick, give this another real fast test, and then I think we have some bigger things to worry about than how well the cooling system is working on this thing. Unfortunately. Okie dokie. Let's see what this does. Probably nothing, but worth a shot. And a cutout, just like that. And absolutely no throttle now. That is really strange. Huh. That has certainly given me some things to think about. At this point, I have some head scratching to do. I am pointing my finger at the ESC being jacked up, and I'm probably gonna need a new pump. Well, I don't know. I guess I will try cleaning out the pump first, see if that does anything, and then from there, I don't even know, try and figure out some of the rest of my electrical problems, along with the ESC being super weird. See you guys back at home.
Righto, chaps, I am back at home. It's been about a week or so because I was sick, but I'm feeling better. First thing I want to tackle in terms of our problems on the Splash is the coolant pump. I think all that happened to it is the armature inside got a rock stuck in it somehow, so I just need to fiddle around, clean it out a bit. I'm going to start with that because that should be the simplest task, and then from there, I'll move on to the ESC, which I have some ideas. I have a couple things to try, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. Got my pump mount loosened up, just going to slide that out there. So let's take a quick look, see if I can see anything in there, which don't really, not off the bat. I'm going to fish around with a screwdriver in there a little bit and spray some cleaner. Oh wait, I think that's a big rock stuck in there. Yep, that would be the problem. That ought to take care of it. I was able to get the rock out. Just sprayed it out with some cleaner. Let's see if she works. Yep, pump is running. Fantastic. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to position the mount covering up these holes to keep any rocks and dirt from getting in there. Basically, I had the clamp there before, and I'm just going to slide it back, clamp it down so that the majority of the large holes are covered up. Pump is running again, mounted back up, holes covered up. Should be good to go from there. Now, in terms of the ESC, I had a friend tell me that they were having a similar problem with like shutting down or loss of power after like, about 30 seconds of driving. And what fixed it for him was switching from LiPo mode to non-LiPo mode and back to LiPo mode on the ESC. So I'm going to try that, see if that fixes it. I'm not really sure what else it would be. He also gave me an extra ESC, so in case this one is just absolutely foobarred at this point from all of its overheating and all the stuff I've had to do to it, I've got an extra one here, so I can mill the fins off this if need be and chuck it in there and see if it solves any problems. Okay, so green is LiPo cut off. You press and hold it for a while, and once it turns red, I think that's nickel metal hydride mode, or just non-LiPo cut off. Okay, I heard a tone out of the motor. It's like a falling tone. Red LED. Now let's try turning it back. Rising tone and green LED. Okay, so that should have been switched forward and back to LiPo mode. So from here, I'm going to charge up a battery, and I guess I will head over to the park and see if that fixed it at all.
Alright, well, let's see how this goes. Seems okay so far. Yeah, that seems to have fixed it, which is good. Guess I'm just gonna keep running it until it overheats, if that's what it does. Or until something happens, I guess, until maybe I break it, or who knows. That body is absolutely wasted though. You can see it just flying around all over the place. Woo! I've got another body that I'm gonna paint for it. I might paint it, or I might build a roll cage for it too. So, you never know, you guys might get a roll cage built for this thing. And there we go. Absolute, complete thermal shutdown. Now I need to take a quick temperature reading and see what stuff is reading and why is my cooling system off. Well, okay, that was kind of a dumb test because the cooling system was off. I swore it was on earlier, but I'm curious what our temperatures are here. 74 and 72, not bad. Actually, those connectors are really freaking hot. If there's one thing that's hot on this thing, it is the wiring. 180, yeah, that's pretty hot. I'm gonna let this thing cool down since it did reach thermal shutdown. Oh, green light came back on. Look at how fast the cooling system actually worked to get this thing back down to temperature. Yep, just like that, we're good to go again.
Alright, now with our cooling system on, let's see if it can hold up to all the current flow and all the heat. And it has slowed down a ton. Let's take a look again, see what's going on. The wiring, ow, is absolutely burning up. So, I think that, oh yeah, 216, holy shit, that is hot. The wiring is absolutely cooking hot. Everything else looks good though. I'm real happy with that. That right there gives us some really good information. Alright, let's head back to the house. Alrighty, so as a summary of what we did, we basically just turned LiPo mode off and back on again, and that fixed our weird, like, basically instant power loss issue that we were having at the beginning of the video. Which, at the beginning of the video, I was trying to show you that it still overheats, which I ran it myself off camera before this video. It was overheating, and I just wanted to show you guys that it is still, unfortunately, overheating, despite our absolutely killer badass cooling system that's on it. So what I'm going to do from here is replace all the high flow current wiring with massive wires, massive connectors, just absolutely beef the thing out. Run big wires to the motor because those things are absolutely tiny. Along with the connectors, I mean, you guys just saw, like, it was getting up to over 200 degrees on the wiring, which is insane. And that excessive heat is causing excessive resistance, and because copper transfers heat very well, I don't know if any of you have ever done soldering and you're holding a wire and all of a sudden your fingers start to hurt a bit. Yeah, copper transfers heat really well. So I'm a little bit concerned that all the heat that's being generated in the connectors between the ESC and the motor along with the wiring is all transferring back to the ESC, causing an overheat condition. With all that said, if it doesn't work, I don't know how much farther I'm going to go on attempting to make the Traxxas ESC perform like I want it. Although I do have a second one, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, so I could try swapping that one in and see if that has any effect. Maybe this one that's currently in the splash has just been overheated too many times and it just has thrown up its hands and been like, you know what, you've got me beat. For now, I'm going to try upgrading the whole wiring system between ESC and the motor. Hopefully that makes a difference. Morning, 'tis a new day. First thing we got to do to get new wiring on my motor and ESC is to pull the motor and ESC out of the rig so we can actually work on it more easily. Motor and ESC have been removed. Shall we mosey on over to the electronics bench and get to work? I think that sounds like a good idea. Let's go. So after getting everything apart, there's not really actually anything I can do, unfortunately, in terms of wiring. Because as you can see, the motor wires are actually part of the windings of the motor themselves. Like, it's the same wire inside the sleeve as you see the copper there. Like, it's the same stuff. There's no solder point, which is what I was hoping for. I was hoping that there would be a sensor board type of connection point. Like, obviously this is not a sensored motor, but I was hoping that there would be solder tabs in here somewhere for the motor wires. For the ESC, it's a waterproof ESC. Like, I knew that there was going to be a conformal coating on it, but I was hoping it would be softer than it is. It is just rock hard. Like, I can't dig my X-Acto point into it at all, which is a bummer, so I couldn't even cut the board out if I wanted to, and if I even tried, I'd probably destroy the whole darn thing. So really the only thing I can do at this point is solder on better motor connectors, because a lot of heat is being generated from these bullet connectors. I do have some 6mm bullets that I can put on instead, so I think I'm going to do that real quick, and then we can take it out for another test and see if that even makes any difference at all. Oh yeah, I also took the back off of this ESC because there were some screws, and it's the same type of setup as this one. Super thick like hard conformal coating, which I can't get through, so couldn't even do anything with this one even if I wanted to, so that's a bummer. Alright, everything's put back together. Let's head over to the park and see if these 6mm bullet connectors make any difference. Alright, well, here goes nothing, I guess. Let's see how this goes. I am not expecting much, but I am slightly hopeful. Drivetrain doesn't sound happy, but that's a different problem. I'm not concerned about that for the moment. Oh, okay. There we go, 50% throttle right there. Alright, there she goes. Let's take a look at our temperatures. Hopefully those motor connectors are in a better state. Ooh, they're still pretty damn hot. 190, yeah, okay, not a whole lot of difference. It's kind of cool. Coolant coming into the radiators is 76 degrees, and the coolant going out is 67. It's like a 10-degree difference across the radiator. That's kind of cool. Coolant tank's at 77, but just like that, it's back ready to race again. There we go, it has really slowed down now. Fast blinking, thermal condition. Let's check our temps. Motor connectors don't feel as hot. They're still 190 though. 87 up front, 82 in the back. Motor outers below 80, radiators also below 80, coolant tank below 70. And I think that looks like it is LiPo cutoff. It's slow blinking red. I'd say that all was conclusive, but unsuccessful. Well, that was not a success. To be honest, I wasn't really expecting a whole lot of difference. I thought maybe the connectors would be a little bit cooler to the touch. Because, you know, bigger connectors, there's going to be more space or like more surface area of contact, you know, for the current to flow. It really didn't change much. It kept them a little bit cooler, I think, but not significant enough to change how it's performing. At this point, there's not really many other avenues that I can go down to keep with the essence of this project, which is overheating stock electronics. The only other thing that I'm going to try is I've got this other ESC. It's the same one. It's a VXL3. It's the exact same thing that's in there already. This is just a slightly older version of it, and it might not overheat as easily because the one that's in there has been cooked countless times at this point from all my testing and running it before this series. So this might work, this might not, but it's worth a shot, I'd say, since I have it here. And then after that, I am really not sure. Really not sure. So, let's head out in the garage, get these fins milled off, get some big bullet connectors soldered on, and give this one a go. got the other ESC installed. Let's go and give another test run. I'm also going to take a 2S battery this time because I figure, well, I don't know, see if that works, see if that maybe reduces the current flow. My 3S battery is a 50C discharge, and my 2S battery is a 35C discharge, as I recall. So, might make a difference, might not. Let's go see. Since I have a 2S battery to test out, I'm going to start with that one. That way I get a cold run with it. Alright, away we go. I think I can hear the slipper clutch, which is annoying. Okay, right there. It has slowed down. Grab out my thermometer. See what it's doing. Hey, that ran to LiPo cutoff. Look at that. Dude. Whew, those connectors are hot. Still in the 190 range, which is insane. Our readout temperatures are 87 and 82 degrees. So 87 coming out of the motor in ESC and 82 just after the radiators and in the tank. So that was successful, you guys. So something else that I noticed is the pump is running slower because this is a 12-volt pump. So I may have to either find a different pump or maybe put a auxiliary battery on it just for the pump. I'm not sure, but that's awesome. That is a partial success right there, you guys. That is insane. All right, I'm gonna let this cool because the motor connectors and the battery connectors are burning hot. I'm gonna let it cool, then we'll try the 3S. All right, everything is cooled down. Just as a baseline, my motor connectors are 87 degrees, which is not bad. Ambient temperature is probably about 70-ish. Got our 3S battery in there. Let's see how it performs. I did not have the cooling system on the whole time, which is slightly annoying, and there it went completely. And actually, I smelled coolant there for a second, which is not good. Yeah, I smell coolant. Oh boy. Yeah. Okay, yep, that's a thermal condition code. No throttle, not surprising. I smelled coolant. Did take a couple rolls. Battery connectors, or motor connectors are, holy shit, 215. Those are scorching hot. You guys see any coolant leaks? Maybe I'm imagining things. Maybe it's just hot wires and shit being smelly. I don't see anything leaking. I don't see any wet spots anywhere. Huh, yeah, okay. I must just be smelling something else because I don't see anything leaking, which is good, So basically it still overheats on 3S or on a 50C discharge battery, which is pretty high all things considered. You know, 50 versus 35, like, it's not a massive difference, but like, it makes a difference. I don't know that it's really the 3S versus the 2S. Unfortunately, I don't have another 3S battery that's 35C. So that's the same milliamp hours, because I don't want something that's a shorter milliamp hour rating, because then it may not get hot enough, you know? Because at least the two batteries that I'm using, they're both 5200 mAh, so this is going to be really interesting to see how this thing performs when it's over 100 out. That'll be something interesting to see.
for sure.
Well, there you go. We tested out the new ESC, or the secondary one. Like I said, it's the same thing. It's just, you know, out of a different rig, less abused, but really made no difference, as you guys saw. We tested out the 2S battery and the 3S. The 2S passed our test, and thus rendering this project at least a partial success, which I'd say is pretty good. The 3S, though, is still making it all too hot. I personally think that it's got to do with the discharge rate. The 3S battery is a 50C, the 2S was a 35, I think maybe a 40, or maybe I would say probably a 40C 3S might be able to keep this thing cool enough, but that's something I'm going to try on my own time. At this point, there's really nothing else I can do on this project that is going to keep with the spirit of it. My goal when I set out on this build was to build a slash that did not overheat with stock electronics. I wanted to build a cooling system for it, and I'd say we freaking did that. And I think that this cooling system can actually handle a lot more than what we're throwing at it, which I think is pretty cool. The main issue, like, you know, as you guys know, you guys have been watching and following along, is just the ESC, where the temperature sensor is on the ESC is not where the water block is. And this thing cools down within 10 minutes and it's ready to go again. And after that 10 minutes is up, I'm ready to go, and it runs all the way down to LiPo cutoff. So basically on one thermal shutdown, it will go to LiPo cutoff, which is pretty good considering the first segment is about 2/3 of its life and the second segment is about another third. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling at this point, but like I said, this is the end of the project. Thank you guys so much for sticking along with this insane build. If you enjoyed it, please share it. I am planning on building another cooling system for another project in the future. Not really going to say much about that yet, but I'm thinking about it. I know this wasn't really the spectacular finish that I'm sure you guys all hoped for, or at least I hoped for. I was hoping to, you know, really crush it and go over the moon with this system, but it just ended up being mediocre, and I'm okay with that, because this is kind of a novelty rig. I mean, at best, like, it'll do 10 laps on a track or something, and it'll overheat. So, from that perspective, like, it works okay, but it's not ideal. It's not what I was envisioning, you know, this grandiose, you know, fantabulous cooling system, you know, that just kicks all air cooling systems out of the water, you know. Thank you guys for all your support on this build. I had a lot of fun doing it. I couldn't have done it without all of you guys, all of your support. As far as other things coming up on the channel, make sure to stay tuned, because there's going to be an MOA video coming out pretty soon, in the next couple weeks. Give me a little bit and I'll have that out for you guys. And aside from that, got lots of cool motor stuff coming as well. That is all I've got to say, guys. Thank you so much for sticking along with this series. Thank you so much for watching. As always, support me on Patreon, join my Discord server, become a member of the channel if you can, and follow me on Instagram at highway49_RC. As always, guys, thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.